Okay, I have this question in my mind. You have spoken about life cycles. So, how data life cycle is? What is data life cycle? First of all, because I want to know myself also, and then also
You
then
are
there is,
very intelligent. You are very intelligent. And by the way, this is a wonderful question.
and
And I'm
then
really happy that you have this kind of thinking.
and then there is the
You
business
mean,
life cycle.
uh,
And then how data life cycle and business life cycle, like this is the third part of my question, like how they will they integrate, because I understand like this is how business analytics work, so please.
at this time, to me, I
Hmm.
may be wrong, and please correct me if I am. There is no difference between data cycle and a business cycle. Why I'm saying so? Um, when you say about the data cycle starts from the point with that how and why we gather the data. What are the problem? What are the issues? What are the things? What are the decisions that we want to make? So these are the questions that comes to our mind, that why we collect the data. In previous days, our statistical books are replete with many sampling techniques that helps us to gather that particular data. But now at this time, today in today's business world, we don't need to use those sampling techniques. Very simply, we don't need to use, because the computer is everywhere. Computer is there at the shops, computer is there in the offices. The people are using it for the Facebook, for the Twitter,
We have on our
on
phones.
every, yes, in
We
our
have.
phones. Yes,
Yeah,
it is there, and that computer, that mobile phones is generating data all the times,
all the time, yes.
even not in hours time, but in seconds. In every second, a whole terabytes of data is there for that particular thing. So there is no dearth of the data. Data is there. So that we do not use, we do not have to have those sampling techniques. So that was the first thing. The data is there, the starting point. The second point, once the data is there, how would we convert that data into some story, into some inference, into some decision, into some
Hmm.
strategy? That is where the statistical formulas, the techniques, and the computer algorithm comes into play. So it is basically a coupling of statistical techniques and the computer algorithm that is converting that particular data into some strategy, into some decision, into some whatever it is. And once it is there, the next step is how to implement. And the implementation is again the third part of the data cycle, that when we implement that particular decision or the strategy, the again the data would be generated in the form of, yes, is that particular technique or particular decision is okay? Do we stick with it? Do we carry on with it, or do we just shelf it? So
Hmm.
this is basically how the data is revolving, starting from the to answer any particular question or to make some particular decision. Then comes towards the algorithm part, the techniques and the algorithm part. And then the third is basically the implementation. This is how the data is revolving. And if you look at the business has exactly the same three steps. Every person, every startup is basically an answer to particular need of the society. For example, the iPhones in our hand is basically the answer to a
Hmm.
question that we do not want to use the buttons on our phone. We want to use the screen, our own tips of our fingers for the any kind of decision. So this is basically the answer to any particular need. Once that is there, the how would we make that thing? That is basically the technique and the algorithms. And then comes, was it a success? Was it a failure? If it is a
Hmm.
success, then how would we improve it? And if it is a failure, then why it was a failure? How can we convert that particular failure into a success? Again, this is the whole business thing. That is why I was saying that there is no difference between a data cycle and a business cycle. And
Business cycle.
at this time, if you let me say, the old business styles are no more in fashion. If someone is
Uh-huh.
still sticky to those old styles, that person or that business would be doomed. If it is not doomed at this time, it would be doomed
Mm.
in, let's say, 4 to 5 years,
Yes,
because it is no more there.
yes, definitely. So, like, even organizations, for example, like recently, Project Management Institute has their own AI, which is being added to ChatGPT, and like because they have so much information, and then there's like you can
Yes.
just extract it. So like even organizations who are like already so much established, and so they are actually transforming themselves into these kind of. Okay, so like I had this question, like so when we talk about business like value chain, and we have all these departments, and we understand all the departments, like for example marketing, finance, and your supply chain, all departments needs to work together and have this chain to actually succeed. So how this data, is there like a data value chain or something? Because we have these
Yes.
concepts like knowledge value chain, then we have business value chain. So I'm trying to know. Yes.
Yes, yes. The simplest answer to your question is yes. You
Okay.
got to have a data chain. You got to have a data chain. If you do not have, the data would not be synced from one department to the other department, and
Mm,
the intra-departmental things would be creating the variation, which is
yes.
not good for the success. So that data chain is there, but the data chain concept is episode number two. Episode number
Okay.
one is that the data should, are we using the data? By the way, very
Mm,
unfortunately, we both are teachers. We both belong to a university, and it's a wonderful business school. There is no doubt about it, because they have taken this particular steps to start the business programs in the data analytics, in the business analytics. But there are many business schools in Lahore, in Pakistan, who are not taking any steps in this particular direction. They are
mm,
still